Thank you, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm amazed that there are this many people here to see this old flick. But I understand it's a print, and I haven't seen a print copy for a number of years, so it ought to be, hope it's an okay print. Anyway, I hope for people that haven't seen the film, hopefully you'll like it. You won't wonder, what everybody's been doing for the last 45 years. And for people that have never seen it big and only on the little box, it ought to be maybe something a little special.
Damn right.
You might be able to see a couple of microphones. And, I didn't know what I was doing when I made this movie. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to engineer or control the craft. So there's a lot of people looking the same way. Screen directions are way off, but all I see are the mistakes, the sort of little filmmaking mistakes. Filmmaking 101. But, it turned out okay. So anyway, we have time to, answer a couple of questions here. But I can't see anything, so you're going to have to shout it out.
George.
Yeah. Where are you?
Right here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What inspired you basically to remake the movie Night of the Living Dead?
Well, there's a story behind Night of the Living Dead. We lost the copyright on it. We never had a copyright on this film. We didn't know that. What happened was when we put the little copyright notice, the little C with the circle around it, on the title. And when the film went into distribution, the distributor changed the title to Night of the Living Dead. Our title was Night of the Flesh Eaters. And there was a movie called The Flesh Eaters, so they decided to change the title. When they changed the title, the copyright bug came off the film. And we've been fighting it ever since, trying to reestablish a copyright. And we haven't been successful so far. So as of right now, the film is still in public domain. But the reason we did the remake was basically to try to reestablish a copyright. It didn't work on this film. The remake is copyrighted, but this film still is not.
It's better.
Which, the remake?
Which do you like better?
Well, of course I like this, and it's like, I don't know, your first child or something. It's you have a natural affection for it, and it's I always will feel fondly about this film. It's not my favorite zombie film. My favorite of my zombie films is Day of the Dead. And I know everybody likes Dawn the most, but my favorite is Day. Hey, all right, hey, a fan of Survival. That's great. 9 people saw Survival. All right, great.
George.
Yes.
Out of all your Living Dead films, what is your favorite zombie character?
Bub. Love that man.
George, in Land of the Dead, what inspired you to make the zombies start learning again?
Well, it's remembered behavior. I don't think they're not going to win a Nobel Peace Prize or anything. But it's remembered behavior. When Big Daddy gets a gun in his hand, when he gets angry, he pulls the trigger accidentally. Remembers, oh yeah, I remember what this thing used to do. And so he's able to use it. So I was trying to use remembered behaviors rather than smarts, you know?
Familiarity.
Question.
Yeah.
What made you pick a trowel?
I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. You just think these things up, and what would be in an old, basement there. Anyway, I just thought, okay, I'll use a trowel. I signed a couple today. People.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How come you chose it to be the little girl that ended up killing her mother?
Well, one of the things we were trying to illustrate was sort of the disintegration of the family unit. And so I just thought that was a pretty definite way to describe that.
George,
Yeah.
did you get any pushback in the film industry for casting an African American in a lead role?
Oh, we absolutely did. Well, except we had already made the film. So, no problem. But right up until Land of the Dead, in fact, the terrible thing about Land of the Dead was when I originally wrote the Riley Denbo role, the Simon Baker role, I wrote him as an African American. And Universal refused. They said, no, we have to sell these films in Europe. Europe won't buy an African American lead unless it's Denzel. And so I said, okay. So the way I retaliated was by making Big Daddy African American. And I think it worked out, in the end, it worked out better.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Why did you choose to go the R-rated route with Land of the Dead?
Had to again, Universal. It's the only way that we could have made the film. So that was it. I decided to go ahead and make the movie and buy those restrictions.
George,
So yeah, one more. Let's go.
in your first movie, you had a zombie run down a hill. After that, never again.
I know. Well, he doesn't really run. He sort of bumbles around. He's not actually running, and he's part of the way being dragged by the car a little bit. Now, I wasn't thinking when I made that first film. I wasn't thinking of rules. I wasn't thinking I'd ever make another. I didn't call them zombies. I never thought of it as a zombie movie. I thought that they were some sort of a new creature, some sort of punishment by God that was, had fallen on mankind. So I never thought of them as zombies.
Do you ever feel like... How old were you when you first started this creature?
So
And what inspired you?
I don't know what inspired me. I wanted to write a story about something that was so extraordinary, so earth-shaking, and yet the people in the farmhouse were too concerned with their own petty interests and petty concerns to even focus on it.
Do you ever feel amazed?
That's really what the idea was. Yeah.
Do you ever feel amazed that, you wake up in the morning and here you are, you're the progenitor of this huge cultural wave that's just swept over the world?
You're a god.
I don't. Thank you. Thanks. I don't get it. I don't understand it. All I know is that I used to be the only guy in this playground. That is a whole,
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. George Romero! Okay, Mr. Romero.